All right, I am here at the World Series of Poker circuit at Potawatomi Casino in Milwaukee with Mr. Brian Altman. Me and Jeff Platt have been saying we were going to get you on the podcast here for a while. Finally did. Glad you're taking the time. It's actually the last day of the circuit. You have your bags packed on the side. You're flying down to Tampa for the World Series of Poker. I mean, that's just seems to be what you do, right? Travel from stop to stop.
Yeah, pretty much. Always on the go. I love to play cards, and plenty of there's no shortage of that in the United States. So here I am. Off I go.
Now, it's February in Wisconsin. What was your impression of the circuit stop here at Potawatomi?
So I've actually been here a couple times. I think this is my third time here, and this is the warmest it's been, I think, and the three times I've been here. But yeah, this is like the longest I've stayed inside. I've pretty much stayed in the casino the entire time. I did make it out to catch 1917 last night, but yeah, pretty much it's great. I love the stop. It's a nice venue, easy for me to get to, and pretty comfortable playing environment.
Well, before you got here, you've been having some success on the WPT. Started at the Seminole Hard Rock in South Florida, Lucky Hearts Poker Open. You won the main event for the second time, becoming the first player in WPT history to win the same main event twice. And what was it like to close that one out and make history?
It was really special. I've had 5 years ago, I won my first World Poker Tour title, and to win at the same location 5 years later it feels amazing. It doesn't even feel real, to be honest. Yeah.
I mean, and then to make it even more unreal, if you will, the next week you go to Borgata and you final table that event as well. It's on hiatus because it's going to play out at the Hyper Esports Arena in Las Vegas, I think, at the beginning of April. And so now you got to wait a couple months. But back-to-back final tables. I mean, are you just is it luck? Is it you're just that good? I mean, obviously we know you're pretty damn good at poker, but just running well, playing well, combination of all the things, or what?
It's definitely a combination of everything. I think when you've been winning in poker, you have the confidence and you kind of have that momentum factor, and maybe you're making better in-game decisions as well. I can't put my finger on if I'm doing anything differently than like what I have been doing, but definitely feeling a lot more confident at the table.
Sure. I actually played with you a little bit here at the WSOP circuit, this stop and the last time you were here. I think that's kind of when we kind of met each other. I've known your name. You've been out there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I know other podcasts have talked about it. I know we've talked about it at PokerNews. You're always going deep in tournaments. Your name is always up there, like in the chip counts, or you just always seem to be making a run. In my opinion, you're one of the most consistent poker players in the world. Do you think that of yourself, that you are consistent, and if so, maybe a point of pride?
I definitely do think I'm pretty consistent. I think part of that is a function of just how much I play. I just play a ton. I don't think there are many players that play more tournaments in a given year than me. So, if you increase your sample size, you're just going to increase your results and have more caches and stuff like that. So, I definitely think that there's playing a ton of volume has something to do with why, I'm deep in a tournament.
Sure.
Because I'm just playing so many of them.
Now, can you give us an idea? Do you even know, like 2019, how many tournaments you played, or maybe how many days you were on the road for poker, anything like that?
I don't know the exact number, but in 2019, I played over 200 entries. So I count that as like if I go to a tournament and I play it a few times, I count that as three separate tournaments. So,
Sure.
So yeah, based on entries, I played somewhere over 200 events, and that was, I think, the first time I've done it.
And do you travel? I mean, I know you from the U.S. market.
Mm-hmm.
It's what my specialty is on Poker News. We cover a lot of live U.S. events. Do you travel primarily in the U.S.? I know you do Canada as well, but do you ever travel to Europe or Australia, any of those places?
Yeah, most of what I play is in North America, in U.S. and Canada. I've been playing EPTs for almost 10 years. My first one was in 2011, back in Madrid, when
Sure.
they used to have one there. I did Aussie Millions a few years ago. I've done a couple trips to Macau. So I do a little bit of international travel. I guess more so than the average American player, but yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing. But majority of what I do is like in the United States. It just makes a lot more sense.
And what's life like when you're not on the road? I know you're a Boston guy.
Mhm.
Do you have a condo, apartment, a home in Boston, or what's life like off the road for somebody like you who travels so much?
For me, life when I'm home is kind of like a decompressing period. I'm just like recovering because I tend to work in bursts and breaks, so I'll play hard for like 7 to 12 days poker all day every day for the most part. Maybe not that much downtime, and then I'll go home and I'll decompress and I'll relax and hang out with friends and then recover and then go back and do it again.
All right. And when you are on the road, like this stop here, do you just do tournaments, or do you ever dabble in the cash games as well?
Sometimes I'll play cash, but most of the time I'm just playing tournaments or and when I get knocked out, I'm just kind of hanging out and decompressing. So
Yeah, going to movies like
yeah,
1917.
yeah. It's nice to do something on a poker trip, or especially on an extended poker trip, to kind of get you away from the tables. So it almost feels like a little break
Sure.
mid poker trip.
Well, speaking of breaks, going back to the Borgata final table, you have to take a break here before the final table plays out. Is that something you enjoy, or would you have rather just played to a winner that weekend?
So I like the concept of delaying the final table because it allows friends and family to be there to share your special day, share the big moment. Um, uh, it does kind of take you out of the groove a little bit. Like if you're in the zone and you feel like you've been playing well, it kind of takes you out of the element a lot and kind of stops the momentum. But overall, I think it's probably a net positive. In this given situation, I'm really grateful that it's delayed because I actually got food poisoning,
Oh,
and what would have been the final table time, I was just very sick on my friend's couch and could barely open my eyes. So I'm pretty grateful it's delayed in this particular situation.
do you know what it was? What you ate that poisoned you?
I think it was oysters.
Yeah,
I think it was oysters.
well, this is one of those scenarios that, yeah, a delayed final table might do some good. Who is going to be out in Las Vegas for you in terms of family or friends?
I know my younger brother is going to be out there, and a couple of my close friends from Boston will be out there as well.
Cool. And let's talk about then going back a little more to the Lucky Hearts Poker Open final table. I saw on social media shortly after that the gentleman you beat in heads up play, John Dollinger, I think he goes by Jake, challenged you to play heads up and that you accepted on social media. So what can you tell us about that whole situation?
So the day after I won, I woke up to a Facebook post, and he just challenged me to play 20 to 100,000 heads up. So I said, sure, we can play for 100,000, and we exchanged a few messages, and we spoke on the phone, and I'm hopeful that it materializes.
And this would be a live challenge, I assume, in like a casino environment?
Yeah, I think so. We're still working out the details, but I'm hopeful that it will materialize.
Cool. How was he as a heads-up opponent in the tournament itself at Lucky Hearts?
I objectively, I got much better cards heads up, and things just kind of went my way. Um, so I mean, I felt like I had an edge, but also I definitely recognize I got a much better run of cards.
Sure. And about the Borgata final table, it's on hiatus. You've got your third in chips, I believe, but basically tied for second and not too far behind first. So you're in a good position. What will you do any sort of preparation before that final table? Maybe research the opponents a little bit, or do you just do what you're doing now and just continue to grind the circuit, and when the time comes, pick up where you left off?
I'm definitely going to do some preparation, but I have a lot of poker to be played between now and then, so I guess I will do my homework for the final table.
That final table is going to be recorded for TV, which I believe is going to be your first kind of big television debut, if you will. Which back in the mid 2000s during the poker boom, that's really what helped establish people in the poker world as poker celebrities or the superstars of the game. Of course, that's changed over the past decade, where a lot of the best players in the world, like yourself, and I don't think there would be much argument or pushback on that amongst people in the poker media, that you are among the best. I mean, your name has been bantered around as being now like the Darren Elias, Anthony Zeno, a superstar of the WPT, but at the same time, you might not have gotten the recognition from the masses as some of those TV pros did back in the day. That might change now a little bit with this final table appearance that's going to be televised. Lumping that all together, are you excited about that final table being on TV? And then also, do you feel that you get the recognition that you kind of deserve in the poker world?
That's a loaded question.
Sure, yeah, that's a lot.
I think I've been pretty content throughout my career with the kind of get it quietly mentality. Just go out there and play. Let your results speak for yourself. Let your play speak for itself. That being said, it will be cool to be on a televised final table. I think I care. I care more so about like my friends and family being able to kind of see me on a big stage than myself being on the big stage. So for them, like I want to, it's a nice way for me to showcase to them, to showcase my craft and what I do day in, day out. So for that, I'm looking forward to it. In regards to recognition, I mean, I've been around for a while. I used to play online. I used to be a high volume online tournament grinder, and people know me from. I've just been around for a really long time. And if you were kind of coming up in the moneymaker, if you're like a product of the moneymaker era, like I was, and you were grinding online, we definitely played together. And I don't know, I don't really care that much about recognition, I guess. Sure. I mean, if you play poker, and you've played with me, you know who I am, and yeah. I don't really care or need to be this like big name.
Gotcha. You mentioned it that you're playing day in, day out. You have been around for a long time. What does the future hold for Brian Altman? Is this a game that you want to continue to be grinding here for the next decade, or do you have an exit strategy or a plan, and to get all the money and get out, like Fedor Holz did? What's the future look like for you in your mind?
In my mind, I am. I'm just trying to front load the sacrifice. Like I'm trying to work hard in my 20s and 30s while I can, and play as much as I can, and win as much as I can. And then at a certain point, if I want to tone back and decrease the amount of volume that I'm playing and be a little bit more selective about the events that I play, then I can do that. I don't see myself ever stop playing poker cold turkey. I think it's an amazing game. It keeps your mind sharp. It's intellectually stimulating, and it's something you can do as long as it's something you can do your entire life. Mm-hmm. As long as I am in the correct mental and physical capacity to be able to play, I'd love to play for the rest of my life.
Well, those who are interested in continuing your journey and want to watch you play or keep tabs of your poker adventures, is there a way they can do that? Social media or things like that?
You can follow my social media adventures on Twitter and on Instagram. I go by the handle of AltiFBaby.
Well, there you go. Brian, thank you, and good luck at that Borgata final table.
Thanks so much.